is that it's Masechet Arochin. There is an Erech. The word is Erech, but many of them are Arochin. The plural sense of Erech is not Erechin, it's Arochin. A lot of words go flip like that. I think Archwell had that's the way they. Arachin. Okay, Daf Daled. Hakol Chayovin b'Mikra Megillah. Everyone is Chayav b'Mikra Megillah. Kohanim Levim Yisrael. The Gemara is continuing to discuss these rises that have Kohanim Levim Yisrael, and what's the point? Why do we're eventually going to get to that. We're going to get back to our Mishnah, which also says Kohanim Levim Yisrael. But what's the point over here of saying Kohanim Levim Yisrael? Shita, obviously, saying, well, it's Livti Lavidosam. Chiddush is that they should be Mevatel Avodah.
Even Kohanim, is that the idea?
Right, even Kohanim who are working, they're doing Avodah morning in the Beis HaMikdash. We just started off Daled. Even the Kohanim that are working in the Beis HaMikdash still should be Mevatel their Avodah to go hear Mikra Megillah. Right, so that's why it has to say Kohanim Levim Yisrael, even Kohanim. Uchder Yehuda Mashmuel Dar Yehuda Mashmuel Kohanim Ba'avidasa Ulevim B'Duchanan, and they're singing on the stage. Yisrael b'Ma'amadan. Yisrael in the Maimad. The Maimad was a certain tefillas that the Klal Yisrael used to say each in their cities. It was separated. They used to divide all the days so that at every point there would be part of a shevet, part of a community davening. So either way, Kohanim, Levim, Yisrael, Mevatel Avaydasam, they have to stop and they have to come here and Mikra Megillah. Okay, so Taisus and Megillah asks how can it be? I still Raisa, Rabbanon, and Chule. Let's discuss this over there. But either way, the point is,
which is the Raisa? The Avodah.
The Avodah is the Raisa and Mikra Megillah is the Rabbanon. So how can it be? Is it pshat only if they could continue the Avodah some other time, right?
Yeah, it's true. They can be Mevatel the Talmud or something to go here Megillah.
Right. So I think Taisus Megillah discusses it.
It's actually kind of Shnei. Megillah doesn't take all day. Should they have a break?
Right, exactly. So the pshat is Megillah comes first before Avodah, even though Yak can be Mevatel, can actually not bring a carbon or something. So just Megillah comes first, right? Something like that. Okay, but either way, that's why we have to say Kohanim. Akol Chayovim B'Zimun. Everyone's Chayav B'Zimun. Kohanim Levim Yisrael. Shita says Gemara, of course, everyone's Chayav in Zimun. The child is they're eating kachim. I might think. I might think when the Kohanim are eating kachim, it's not just regular eating, they're eating for kapara. So they're not really eating, it's really just a kapara. And therefore they should not be chayiv in zimun, they shouldn't be chayiv to bench even, I guess.
Why?
Huh?
You mean because it's not their food? Because it's not eating for...
They're not, it's like they're not really eating. Maybe they're not eating for themselves, they're eating for a kapara since they're eating.
Kapara is through their eating. How could it be not eating?
Through their eating it's a kapara, but the kapara redefines the action.
So they shouldn't make a bracha Rishona either.
I guess, I don't know. But the question, before bracha Rishona, what about bracha Achrona? Because it says over here, Akol Chayim B'Zimun, right? Benching sounds like, yeah. Right? Unless that's what it means. Zimun means benching. V'hakaporahi. Mashmalon says more v'achalta v'sovota. Omar Achmona v'ha'isnu. V'maisa they're eating and doing severa, so they have to. No, maybe it's specifically zimun and only zimun because what's zimun? And zimun is your sort of nevarich shachalnu mishaloi. We're introducing the benching. Right? Right before you bench, you're supposed to introduce the benching. You're supposed to be mizamin everybody to start benching. So maybe if it's a kachim, it's like a kapara, so everyone is aware already. I'm not sure.
The zimun also used to be the benching itself in those days, right? When you said zimun, you
used to continue inside the bracha.
Yeah.
Right? You're saying that's why maybe zimun means the actual bracha too. Okay, let's look it up. See what the Mefarshim say. Okay, I come with star from the zimun. Everyone, and maybe you could say a vart that somehow zimun is supposed to be miyachid everybody. I don't know what the Indian of zimun. It's the Indian of zimun. It's to get everyone prepared. It's for one to lead. That if it says for one to lead, but if it's somehow to get everybody together, ready for benching, so maybe if you're eating kachim, which is a kapara, everyone is already connected. Sounds like it's far like that. I don't know. Okay, I come and start from the zimun kahanim levim Yisraelim. Everyone is mitzdaref to a zimun kahanim levim Yisraelim. The Gemara says, of course, why shouldn't they be mitzdaref? Like tzricha de ka'achli kahanim trumay kachim. Kahanim are eating either trum or kachim. V'zar ka'achil chulin. And a zar is eating chulin. So it's like that. I might think, if the zar wants to eat with the kohen, he can't eat because he can't eat trum or kachim. So therefore, I should say that they shouldn't be mitzdaref. No, he desire badi kohen lamatzi achel. You're right, even though that a zar can't eat the kohen, but the kohen can eat the zar's food, right? So as long as there's a one-way street over here, even if the zar can't eat the kohen's food, the kohen can eat the zar's food, so then they could be mitzdaref. There's a kohen badi zamatzi achel, and therefore they could be mitzdaref for the zimun. That's what it's saying. I come and start from the zimun, a kohen to a Yisrael, a Levi to a kohen, Levi to Yisrael, Yisrael to a kohen, everyone could do it together. Okay, how about basar b'chalav? I guess the guy who's eating chalav could wash his mouth and then eat from the guy who's eating basar. So also should work one way, right? But let's say you have a situation where you can't. Let's say he's eating aged cheese, right? Which means you can't have to wait, right? So would they not be mitzdaref? It sounds like no. I never heard it. You ever heard this?
No. If they're eating
that if they can't eat from each other, so
right.
no.
So they can't whether
you can even eat together now.
But if you have a hacker, you're allowed to eat, but it sounds like it can't be mizamin. Okay, good. We have to look it up. Okay. Hakol ma'arichim. Back to our mission. Hakol ma'arichim kahanim levim Yisraelim. Pshita. Again, why shouldn't kahanim levim Yisraelim? The Torah is talking to everybody. Pshita. Marav l'nitzchel ben Bukhri. We need it according to Ben Bukhri. Ben Bukhri was one of the Tanoim. The Tanan Omer of Yehuda. Hey, the Ben Bukhri. B'Yavne. Ben Bukhri. He gave testimony in Yavne. Kol kain sheshekel ein chayte. Any kain who gives machas shekel is not going to be chayte. Amar Rabbi Eliyahu ben Zakkai. It says Rabbi Eliyahu ben Zakkai loikin el kol kain she'ein shekel chayte. If a kain doesn't give machas shekel, then he's chayte. Because basically, there's a machlokes between Ben Bukhri and Rabbi Eliyahu ben Zakkai. Whether we had a few places. It's a Mishnah and Shlomo, I think. There's a machlokes between Ben Bukhri and Rabbi Eliyahu ben Zakkai as to whether kohanim are chayvin machas shekel. Everybody else is chayvin machas shekel. Are kohanim chayvin machas shekel? So Rashi explains this based on machlokes how to read the words kol ha'over al pikudim. Is it kol ha'over al pikudim means anyone who's going to be counted? Therefore, Levim weren't counted. Or kol ha'over is kol ha'over on Yamsuf. Anyone who passed by Yamsuf, that's they're b'chayiv. So that's the machlokes between Ben Bukhri holds your potter. And Rabbi Eliyahu holds your chayiv. So Ben Bukhri says, "Kol kain, even though you're potter, if you give, it's not a sin." And we'll see what type of sin. Why should it be? Why should it be an avera?
It messes up the
because it messes up the carbon tzibur. Well, we're going to see later. The Gemara is going to explain. Rabbi Eliyahu ben Zakkai says, "No, you have to. Avada, there's no problem. Avada, you have to."
Because it means kol over Yamsuf.
Right. No, but also we're going to see that mitzad messing up the carbon tzibur. He explains it also. I mean, We'll see. That's the Gemara. That's how Rabbi Yochanan Zaka continues. He says, no. First of all, they're chayav. Kol kohen she'ein shekel chayta. Any kohen that doesn't give machzor shekel, he's going to be chayta. Ella, what's going on over here? He's saying, why is it controversial, right? Why are these kohanim not giving? Shakanim darshan mikra zel le'atzman. They darshan it for themselves, meaning in their benefit to patra themselves. It says v'chol minchas kohen. Any mincha that's of a kohen. Kolel ti'aloi seyachel. Anytime a kohen brings a mincha, it has to be fully brought to fully burnt, and you can't eat the shirayim. Usually menachos eat the shirayim. You give the kmitza, you take only a handful and throw on the mizbeach, but the rest is eaten, right? But kohanim, minchas kohen has to be fully burnt. And hoyel v'oimer v'shtei alechem lechem aponim shelanu heim. So if the kohanim contribute machzis hashekel. Now, the korbanos tzibur come from machzis hashekel. So oimer, which is a type of mincha, which all types of menachas that are supposed to be eaten, right? So if the kohanim have nothing to do with it, okay, so Yisraelim bring it. It's a regular minchas. It's a minchas tzibur from Yisrael, so it's no problem. But once we start contributing, so now it's also minchas kohen. Minchas kohen has to be burnt, right? So had they eaten? So therefore the kohanim said must be we can't give machzis hashekel. So with that they exempted themselves from the tax, right? When Ruchri Nami says the Gemara, even according to Ben Bruchi, came into the chatchila lemechayv. However, meaning so according to Rabbi Yochanan Zakai, the Torah is mechayev them. And then once the Torah is mechayev them, obviously there's no problem, right? But according to Ben Bruchi, the holds given the chatchila lo mechayvi, since the chatchila they're not chayev le'suya, they're not chayev to bring. He might see nami chaytehu. When he brings, so Yitaka is chayte. I mean, according to Rabbi Eliyahu Zakai, obviously the Torah allows it. Obviously there's some mechanism where it works, right? Obviously it's not a problem. According to you, Ben Bukhari, you hold Yitaka Pater. Now you're bringing it. You said Kol Koyin chayte. If you bring it, you're not chayav. But if you bring it, you're not chayte. Why not? You're not allowed to bring it, right? The Torah wasn't chayav you, and then you bring it. Now you're messing up the korbanos.
That's a good cheshbon.
So the Gemara become ayel chulin azar. Oh no, because you're bringing chulin azara. You should be a chayte because you're bringing chulin azara. I guess since you're not chayev, it's considered chulin.
Since remember whose real code is not required, he's incapable of consecrating. The coin remains private property. It's actually chulin to the.
He's bringing chulin azara. It's interesting that it remains chulin. Huh?
Chulin coin or the chulin what? What's chulin?
This is also.
Oh, the korban is also part of the korban, but with that coin is likewise chulin.
I guess it's a partial chulin. Why is it more chulin than? But since they're not chayev, I guess the Torah is mechayev you to give machzis hashekel, and that machzis hashekel goes towards korban tzibur, so that the kedusha can come from the coins that you're chayev in. But if you're not chayev, like let's say Yisrael gives extra coins, right? So I guess that's also chulin. That'll create chulin bazara because you gave money which you weren't chayev, so it's not kaddish. So and then you buy a carbon with it. That's chulin really, right? Because it wasn't really kaddish, and I guess that's the same thing. Why doesn't the Gemara ask a better question? Why taka is it not a problem of minchas kohen? Right. The Gemara is asking the Kamayil Chulin Lazara. Why are you not asking the actual kasha that we had before? That it's called minchas kohen now. No,
it should be burnt.
Whereas Ben Bukhari said, Rabbi Yochanan Zakai explained that the reason why the kohen didn't bring it is because now it's minchas kohen. So why is Ben Bukhari not dealing with that? I don't know. Rashi says that we don't hold of that drasha because kolel. I mean, we don't hold of the issue of kolel tiyah because that's only if it's only owned by a kohen. I mean, obviously, Rashi says that's not a problem because minchas kohen is only if it's individually owned by one individual kohen. But if it's owned by a tzibur, so even though one of the kohanim are the partners, it doesn't make a difference. So that I guess is not our problem. The only problem is even Ben Bruchi is minded to that. The only problem is ayetz chulin lazara. It's more the ma'aseh lahu masal tzibur. Shad is he brings it and he hands it over to the tzibur. Meaning it's not chulin anymore. He donates it to the tzibur. It's not left under his own ownership. He donates it to the tzibur, and therefore it's not chulin anymore. I guess it's only a problem if it remains under his individual ownership. The second he gives it over, so then it already becomes most tzibur, and then it could be kaddish. If it maintains its status of being owned by one individual, so then it's chulin. And since he's not chayev, then it's chulin. But once you give it over to the tzibur, so it's not a problem. Okay. Now the Gemara goes back to the original shaila we had, right? Now we want to know why by in our Mishnah doesn't need to say kohanim. So it says more like the pasuk says all erchin that you pay have to be b'shekel hakodesh, right? So I might think because the word erkecha and the word shekel are right next to each other, kol erkecha yeh b'shekel hakodesh. Kol deitze b'shkolim, anyone who's shaykh to shkolim, anyone who's chayav in machzas hashekel, then isa be'erchin. V'hani kohanim, however lesnu b'shkolim, since they're not chayav in shkolim according to Ben Bruchari, right? Lesnu be'erchin, they should not be chayav in arachin. Therefore, I need the Mishnah to kamash malan that even kohanim are chayav. Okay. Omer le Abaye says Abaye hay b'chol erkecha l'chol arachin shatamarich. It says Abaye hay b'chol erkecha. This pasuk of b'chol erkecha is needed to teach me, not to teach me a hekesh that whoever's chayav in shkolim is chayav. I know this. I need this pasuk for something else. I needed the kol erchin shatamarich. Any time you're marich and erchin lo yebchusin b'sela. You shouldn't be less than sela. Ude also, meaning. We said the pasuk says that if a person can't afford the erech that he donated, right? So the kohen has to evaluate how much he could afford, but it can't be less than a selah. No matter what, it can't be less than 1 shekel, right? But that's what we learned. A selah is a shekel, the same thing. So, right? The least amount has to be at least 1 shekel, right? So that's what we learned from this pasuk. Don't try to learn that whoever is potter in machzas shekel is potter from erchin. We need this pasuk already. It's used up. The reason why I need kohanim to say kohanim since it says in the pasuk by Pidyon Ben, the ones we have to be paid are mi ben chodesh tifte, right? You have to be paid them when they're a month old. Be'erkecha. Pasuk says be'erkecha in his value. So therefore we say kol deitze b'Pidyon Ben. Anyone who's chayav in Pidyon Ben, he said be'erchin. Since you see the word erkecha on the pasuk of Pidyon Ben. Kol deitze b'Pidyon Ben, he said be'erchin. Anyone who's shaykh to Pidyon Ben should be shaykh to erchin. V'hani kohanim, these kind of put the lesson of Pidyon Ben. Since they're part of Pidyon Ben, kohanim levim, right? So lesson of erchin, maybe they should be part from erchin. Mashmalan, no, even kohanim are chayav. Omer Rava, oh yeah, if you're going to go this direction, Elamiyata gabi Eil Hashem, by Eil Hashem diksiv ve'es Hashemoy avil Hashem. The pasuk says by the type of Hashem you have to bring from a ram. Ve'es Hashemoy avil Hashem, Ayel Tomim and Atzoin be'erkecha. Also says the word erkecha by Hashem. So also, Yehachanami called Isa be'erchin, Isa ba'el. You're going to say the same deed. Anyone who's shaykh to erchin is shaykh to Eil Hashem. So now Tuntum and Adroigenus, the Mishnah said, right, that they're not shaykh. The Tuntum and Adroigenus, less no be'erchin, less no be'el Hashem, because it says the word erkecha there. That's what the Rava doesn't like that. Al Marava v'item Rabashi Istrich. We need it. So you see the pasuk when it says the story of erchin, it says if a guy can't afford it. So what does he do? He stands in front of the kohen. So it sounds like the person himself is not a kohen, right? So therefore, it sounds like a Yisrael that comes in front of a kohen, but not if it's a kohen in front of a kohen, right? That's the simple mashmos of the pasuk is that we're not talking about a kohen, we're talking about you go in front of a kohen. So therefore, kamash mula, no, even a kohen is chayav in erchin. Okay, good. Now we're going back. The Gemara had said ne'erochin, right? We said akol marichin, afilu kohanim v'im Yisraelim, right? How did it say? It said akol marichin v'ne'erochin noijim v'nidor, right? So the Gemara said, why do you need akol ne'erochin? What's the point of saying akol ne'erochin? What I said is to teach you the asuyim menuvel mukashchin. That a menuvel mukashchin is still chayav, right? Even though on the slave market they would never be sold, but still over here, and gabi erchin they're chayav. If someone says erech this guy who's a Menuv Mugushchin on me, right? I'm chayiv the erech of this Menuv Mugushchin, he's still chayiv to pay. You know what I mean? Now, how do you know this? How do you know that a Menuv Mugushchin is you're chayiv? It says in the Brayse, it's coming to include even an erech sasim, which really ends up meaning you didn't tell anybody, you didn't specify the erech of who, you just said the erech. I want to donate an erech. I'm going to explain that further. Erech kula yunois, and he has to give a person's entire erech, the entire value. You can't be marich. I want to give the value of a hand, of a foot, of a leg. You can't do that. It has to be a full erech. Maybe we should exclude even if a guy says, I want to donate the heart. I want the value of a heart, the value of a head, right? Something that's an aver that the davar is neshama tluy by. If you cut off the head, the guy dies, right? If you cut off an arm, the guy doesn't die, right? So that's the difference between an aver. But if you say I want to donate the value of a hand, that means nothing. But if you say I want to donate the value of the heart or of the head, right? Since that's davar neshama tluy by, so it's as if you said I want to donate the whole body. Right, so yochol shani moitzi, maybe you might exclude even davar neshama tluy by tamar nefashos. The pasuk over there says, right? So you learn from the word nefashos that if the nefesh, the life, is totally by, so it's you're chayiv. Nefashos v'lay ameis. Also, you learn from the word nefashos that if someone donates the erech of a dead person, it's pater. Oitzis ameis. Maybe I should exclude the meis. V'lay oitzis agoisis, but a gois is a person who's dying. He's about to die. He's in bed, right? He's just about to die. I might think maybe you're chayiv because he's still alive. You have to. Pasuk says v'hemid. You have to stand him up. V'herich, and the kind evaluates him. Anyone who can stand up, yeshna ba'aracha, then you chayiv nechem. Kol she'eina ba'amad, if you can't stand him up, and eina ba'aracha. Davaracher nafsheis einli ela echad sheherich echad. Only if one person was marich one other person. But echad sheherich me'el. Let's say you say erech of all these 100 people. I want to donate the erech of all these 100 people. Minayin tamaloy mar nefashos. Right. So nefashos plural. All I know is if a man is the one who's being marich, whether a man, whether a lady, but isha shericha ish. But if a woman is marich an ish, or isha shericha isha, binayin. How do we know if the woman is the one who's being marich if she's chayav? Tamlomer nefashos. To include men and women. So to include menuvul mukishkim. Sheyachol neder be'erkecha. How I think since we said. Neder be'erkecha, the pasuk says neder be'erkecha kol sheyeshna b'dam enu l'schayim dam yeshna be'erchin. Because she'ena b'dam, someone who doesn't have value on a slave market, ena be'erchin, he shouldn't be chayiv in erchin if you donate his value. Tamalomer nefashos. No, any nefesh. V'hayo erkecha is l'rabbis tumtum v'adroginus l'damim. That's coming to include tumtum and androgynous to values. Meaning, if someone says the erchin of tumtum v'adroginus, we're going to see that doesn't work. But if you say the actual value on the slave market, that's a regular neder, so you're chayiv. Sheyochol neder be'erkecha, because I might think, since it says neder be'erkecha, kol sheyeshna be'erchin, anyone that has erchin yeshna be'damim, kol she'ena be'erchin ena be'damim. So since tumtum v'adroginus are not chayiv in erchin, they're not chayiv in damim. Maybe even if you donate the regular value, not the erech, you're still chayiv, you're still patur. So that teaches you that. No, for neder you're chayiv. Hazachar says in Gemara, that teaches you zachar v'loy tumtum v'adroginus. It has to be actual zachar. Yochol lo yuhu be'erech ish. Maybe they shouldn't be included in ish because it says zachar. Aval yu be'erech ish. Maybe tumtum v'adroginus should be pulled with the same value of women. Tamaloymar v'ayarkecha hazachar v'im nekeva. Then the pasuk says v'im nekeva. Zachar vaday nekeva vadois. So you have to be for sure zachar. For sure, nekeva. V'loy tumtum v'adroginus. So tumtum v'adroginus are not shaykh to erech b'chlal. Omar more. Be'erkecha l'rabbis erech sasim. Be'erkecha is coming to teach you to include erech sasim. What's erech sasim? My erech sasim says more than Tanya. However, erech sasim alike. Erech stam. You just said the value of someone. You didn't say who. You didn't say what. What are you talking about? So what does he have to do? You have to give the least of the erech. What's the least of the erech? Why? Because the least age, the lowest age, the lowest value that the Torah talks about is ben chodesh. right, from a day old until 5 days old of an occasion. And that's Shleisha Shkolim. Right, so Shleisha Shkolim, that's the lowest amount the Torah says, so therefore you have to be chayiv in the lowest. Maybe you should be chayiv the highest, right? Who told you should be chayiv the lowest? As the Gemara, tafasta merubah tafasta, the famous rule that whenever you want to know how much, right, you always go to tafasta merubah. If you try grabbing more, loy tafasta. But tafasta more tafasta, because now you can be confident, right, that at least you'll have you for sure at least chayiv in the lowest, right? And therefore we say that taka only chayiv in the lowest. The aim of shekel, maybe it should be a shekel even. Why t'ksiv? Right? We just said before that the lowest could be a selah. The lowest isn't 3 shkalim. The lowest, right? If the guy can't afford it, right? So we say that at least has to be a selah, right? So you see, the lowest erech is a selah. So maybe it should be a selah. If you're going with the lowest, there's a gemara. No, who hesagyad t'ksiv? That's specifically by hesagyad. Hesagyad is when the guy can't afford it, right? Hesagyad. We'll see the targum. Hesagyad. Right, it's different. That's an exception, right? But over here, the guy could afford it. The guy there's no issue of him affording it because Rashi even explains that when someone shatters when he can't afford it, it's because he says, "Oh, I didn't chap." Right? I didn't chap that he was so valuable, that he was so old, that I didn't know his age, right? So therefore, I didn't realize that's why I can't afford it. I don't have the money for it, right? But over here, the guy knows. The guy, he said erech sasam, which we understand to be referring to the lowest one. So therefore, he should be chayiv. That whole exception is only when you can't afford it. Okay, so then what do you need the pasuk for? If we have the rule of tafasta merubah tafasta mur tafasta, right? He says erech sasam. So why do you need? It sounds like from the Bryce you need the pasuk, right? You need the pasuk that says, what's the pasuk? Be'erkecha, right? Lahavi erech sasam. What's the big deal? I mean, obviously, without the pasuk, what would we do? We would also know the same thing. Must be you give the lowest amount, right? Says the Gemara, no, you still need it because I might think loymar avar Nachman. Meaning, I might think that he's actually chayiv, that he should be nidun b'hesegyad, like we just said. Meaning, I might not say. Sorry, I might say right. Let's say this guy says erech sasam, right? And then what happens is that we say you chayiv shleisha shkalim, right? But let's say now the guy says I can't afford it, right? So we say too bad. We say too bad. You don't have this excuse of not affording it. Why? Because my time became a farish dummy. It's as if you actually articulated how much you want to give.
Israel, Rabana, Tamidehan, Tamidehan, Yalcom on the Skimarai, Basarate, Mukiba Sar, Yahon, the Conchcom, Rabakina, the Crystal Rock, and Time Marican, the Son of Vite, Kokonam, Vishmaya Barab in your name, Yahishma Rabban, Vishmaya, Time, Bako Israel in your name. A session on the Mama, who has session on Bako Israel in your name.
I might think, Rashi says the regular way when someone says I can't afford it, therefore give me a cheaper price, right? That's only if because he has an excuse. He says, listen, I didn't have the age, I don't know, I don't know how old he is, so therefore give me a break, right? But over here, since you said erech sasam, so you know that's the lowest level. So you know exactly how much you're saying. You have no excuse now. So therefore, he's not needing to investigate. Okay, we'll say that. Right. So we were talking about how the guy erech sasam. The guy says stam erech on me. He didn't articulate any person specifically, right? So therefore, we say he has to give the lowest. Because the fast merubah, the fast, you have to give the lowest amount. Now the Gemara is just making another point that by regular case, if a guy says erech of this guy on me, right, the chiyuv of this guy's value should be on me, right? That's koyolai. He could have an excuse. He could say, listen, I don't know. I didn't know how old he was. I didn't know he was talking that that's the amount I have to pay. But over here, since you didn't say anything, right? So now we're giving you the cheapest deal. The cheapest deal is the Mishkalim, right? So therefore, you can't tell me that I didn't mean that guy, right? You didn't mean anybody. You didn't say anybody. We're giving you the cheapest deal. Therefore, you don't have the excuse of not being able to afford it. The excuse of not being able to afford it is only to somebody who says I miscalculated, right? But over here, there was no miscalculation. Adrab, we're giving you the lowest possible amount. Right. Okay, so therefore, Heseg Yad doesn't work, right? So that's what we're saying. Amar Rav Nachman, right? We ask Elakrol Amli, what do you need the pasuk by Erech Sasum? You need the pasuk to tell you Amar Rav Nachman, Rabbi Raful, Lema Shein Nidin Heseg Yad, to tell you that he's not needing the Heseg Yad. He doesn't get the cheaper price because he can't afford it. Okay, my time. It's as if he explained. It's as if he actually articulated that he's going for the lowest erech, and therefore he can't say doesn't get the cheaper price. The opposite. There's no even if he says erech sasim, he still needs the Masechet Yad, and that's why I need the pasuk. Pshita says the Gemara. Maybe that's Pasha, of course, why not? No, I might take Mefarsh Dami. He's being more articulate than regular even, so therefore it's as if he Kid Mefarsh Dmei, maybe his pshat is you actually explained how much, you actually specified how much money you're giving, right? So therefore, I might think you can't have the break of Heseg Yad Kamash Milan, even so he has it. Okay. Continues the Brisa. And you have to give the full erech only if he vows the entire erech. There's no such thing as giving the erech of his foot, of his hand, right? That doesn't work. Says how could you use the word be'erkecha twice? You used it already for erech sasam, right? How are you using it now again for this to tell you that you have to have the full body and not just the Kerem? It says it could have said erech, right? So erech is extra, and then it said be'erkecha, so it's two extra things. The whole word is extra, and it could have just said erech. Okay. Maybe even if he says the erech of his head, which is the davar shaneshama tluya by, his life is totally tamalomer nefashas. You see nefashas, which means life, right? So something that the life is dependent on. So then you would taka b'chayev on the whole value of the person. Nefashas, another drasha for nefashas, v'lo yisameis, not a dead person, right? A dead person. Someone's married a dead person, he's not chayev. Says Gemara, va'apikdei, didn't you just learn nefashas? You just darshan something from nefashas. How could you darshan another thing from nefashas? Says Gemara, karibei nefesh nefashas. It could have said nefesh and then it said nefashas, so you can learn two things, right? Because the whole thing is extra. Plus, then you said it could have said nefesh and it said nefashas, so there's two drashas you could learn. Maybe I won't exclude a goisus who's even though alive, right, but he's just barely alive. So maybe I should think that he's still alive, and it still should work. Right? He has to be able to stand. So the Gemara, if once you have the drasha v'hemid v'erich, so a dead person also can't stand, right? Not just a goisus, a dead person also. So you shouldn't need nefashas for that. So the Gemara is hachanami. You're right. You don't need nefashas for that. Ela nefesh nefashas only. What are the two drashas you can learn from nefesh nefashas? Kedabino le'era kaman. Davar acher nefashas. Like we continued, davar nefashas. Eina ela echad sheherich echad. Only if one person is marich one. Echad sheherich mei. If a person vows to give 100 people's value, minayin tam learn nefashas. Plush and plural, right? Davar nefashas only ela isherich. Only if a person is the one who vows to give the value. Bein isha isha she'ericha ish v'isha she'ericha isha. If a woman is the one who's donating, minayin tam learn nefashas. Plural meaning including all life, even women. Davar acher nefashas is lahavi menuvel mukshchin, to include even the menuvel mukshchin who has no regular value, right? Doesn't have value on a slave market, but over here he does have value. It says the Gemara again, va'apiktei lahanach. Right? You can't use it. You haven't used it 5 times already, right? How could you use nefesh nefashas for all these things? The Gemara says, "Hanach leitzirchikayah." Really, all these don't need a pasuk. Why? Right? My time akishakulhu, because they're all equal opportunity drushes. There's no reason to darshan one over the other. The avayu kulam, and therefore we have to include all of them. Very interesting. Rashi explains. That's what Rashi explains. And he says there are 3 drushes over here. You don't know which one comes first. They're both equally mashma from the pasuk, both equally needed. So therefore, since you can't choose one over the other, you're going to bring all of them. Usually, you can't do that, right? Over here, the Gemara says no. You can bring all of them. Therefore, you learn 3 drushes from nefesh, and then nefashais is extra. That teaches you the extra thing of tumtum of menuvel mukashchin. Okay, it ends up learning everything from the word nefashos. So the extra pasuk of nefashos is lemenuvel mukashchin. That's what it's needed for, to teach you, even though they have no value on a slave market, they still have value for Erkin. So the rabbis tumtum v'adreginus l'dam. If you say demei tumtum alai, that you are chayiv. Right? Erich tumtum alai doesn't work because it's not a zachar, not a nekeva. But demei, just the regular vow to vow money, that does work. That's what we learned from Yarkachol. It says Gemara, damim lama likra. What do you need a pasuk for damim? Lo yehela demei dikla. It should be just like it should be just like a cedar tree. If you say the value of this tree should be on me, right, to donate to the Beis Hamikdash. You can donate the value of anything. So we need a pasuk to teach you the value of a tumtum avada, of course. If he says the money, the value of a tree, milo yoiv, is he not chayiv to give it? The pshat is no, there's nidin mechoyed. The chiddush over here is that if you say the dmei of the roish of the tumtum, the head of the tumtum, is on you, so weiter it spreads to the whole body, meaning you have to give the entire body. The term nidin mechoyed means that like we said before, if it's a davar shanashama tluya boy, right? So then the chiv isn't only on the roish; it's on the whole thing, right? So too over here, what we learn from here, if it was just a regular domim like a tree or something, right? So whatever you say, you're chayiv. So he said the roish of the tumtum, so you have to give the value of the head of the tumtum. Kamash malon over here, then he's nidain b'chvoida. He's judged with in honor. Something that his honor is totally in, right? So shad is if his head, his whole honor is totally in his head, his whole dignity is totally in his head, right? So if he has head, so therefore, if he says demei tumtum olai, you're chayiv the entire value of the whole tumtum, not just his head, because it's davar shenashama tluya boy, davar shekvoidoi tluya boy, right? So sagdai dechamina, because I might think neder be'erkach ksiv, because we learn neder and erkach together. Kol sheyesh ne be'erchin nidan b'chvoidei. Only someone who's shaykh to erchin, then he's nidan b'chvoidei, because we learned it from nefashos, right? We learned the whole musag of davar shenashama tluya boy from the word nefashos, which is in the parsha of erchin. So only someone who's in the parsha of erchin has this idea of davar shenashama tluya boy. But someone who's not shaykh to erchin, like tumtum and dragonus, maybe not. So therefore, because she'ena be'erchin eina nidan b'chvoidei, therefore kamash malon, that even in tumtum v'adregonus, that tells me that they have this musik of nidan b'chvoidei. Amalei Abaye, oh yeah, says Abaye, is that true? With lo yiseh be'erchin mi nidan b'chvoidei, is it true that someone who's not shaykh to erchin is nidan b'chvoidei? Therefore, and that's why I want to say a tumtum has this concept of nidan b'chvoidei. That with davar shenashama tluya boy, v'atanya, he's going to bring a brayso that shows the opposite. He says, someone says roish eved zehektish. Someone says the head of an eved should be hektish. So what happens? Who v'hektish utzun boy? What happens is that the head doesn't just go to hektish. Him and hektish are fully partners. You didn't give the whole thing, right? You didn't say the whole eved should be for hektish, but you did give the head, which is the chashav part, right? So what do we say? Half and half. You and hektish are partners. Roish eved machor lecha, or if I sell you the head, if I say I'm selling you the head of an eved, so then what happens? Mishamnin v'neim. Also the same thing. They evaluate the work that the eved does, half and half. Right? You have to split it. You have to evaluate how much the eved's work is worth, and then you split it half and half like regular partners. The reason why it says shutfin by hektish is because hektish, they're just partners. You can't really work because the head can't be netted from hektish, and therefore they have to sell it. They have to sell it, and then they get half the value. Mishamnin is as the eved continues working, right? Because if I sell a regular guy an eved, so we could split the value. There's no issue. So that's why you just evaluate the value, how much the guy is producing. Either way, by both cases, they're shutfin. They're halfway partners. Roish chamor zeh hektish. If you say the head of a chamor is hektish, same thing. Who hektish shutfin boy? Your partners with hektish. Roish chamor mocher lecha. I'm selling you the head of the donkey. Mishamnin b'neim. That also you have to evaluate the difference exactly. But again, they're partners, 50% partners. Roish para mocher lecha. However, if you say roish para, the head of a cow is mocher lecha. Lo mocher elo roisha. You only sold the head. Meaning you're not partners now. The head belongs to you. When we shech the animal, the head will go to you, or the value of the head will go to you, not the whole, not the half of the head. Right? You say the head of parah is hektish, ain't hektish ela roisha. Right? You only have roisha. V'amar of Papa, why? What's the difference between a parah and a chamor and eved? Right? Eved and a chamor, you say if you sell the head or you give the head to hektish, they become 50%, right, down the middle. But by para, only the head. Because you can actually sell the head of a cow in a butcher shop, and it's something that does work on its own, right? It is sold on its own, and therefore that's what you meant. But the other things, you never sell the head of an eved. The head of a chamor is never sold, and therefore what you meant is to give half. It says Gemara, "V'chamoru para, chamoru para lesnu be'erchin." Both chamor and para are not shaykh to erchin. Right? They're not shaykh to erchin. Ve'ein nidin b'chvoidai. Only people are shaykh to erchin, right? And it's ein nidin b'chvoidai. Meaning, we just said that even though somebody is not shaykh to erchin, the tumtum dragonist, he is shaykh to nidin b'chvoidai, right? So then, why don't we say it over here? A para and a chamor, even though they're not shaykh to erchin, they still, since you said their head, right? You talked about their head, so they should be. The whole thing should be nidin b'chvoidai, just like you can't separate the. It's davar shanasham chuliyubay, and therefore it should be as if you said the entire animal should be hektish, the entire part, the entire chamar. Why are you separating it now over here? It says the Gemara. Yeah, but according to you, eved. That's the blatant question over here. Eved also the head is just partners. Right, the Isa Berachin, Eved does have Erchin, right? The Mishnah said that an Eved could be Nerach, right? So that's a big kasha. That's a real kasha, right? Because we said Avada that Davar Shana Shamatluy boy, you have to give the whole thing, and now you're telling me no. If he says this, the Dmei of the head of an Eved, it should be hektish. It sticks just to you split it down the middle. You're partners. Right? It shouldn't be like that. It should spread to the whole body. You should say the pshat is it's Davar Shana Shamatluy boy. You're giving the entire domim. He is shaykh derchen and still ain't needed mechvoida. El Gemara says like kasha, habekache mizbeach, habekache bedekabayis. This price is talking about kache mizbeach. There's a difference in kache mizbeach and kache. There are two types of kache, two types of hektish. Hektish of bedekabayis is general money that doesn't necessarily go to a carbon. It goes to the upkeep of the Beis Hamikdash, whatever they need in the Beis Hamikdash, right? And erchin. Our sugi of Arachin is also that similar. That it's under the category of kotche v'dekabayis. It's just money that you give to the Beis Hamikdash. It's not necessarily going to a carbon, and that's where we learn the concept of davar shanasham by erchin. So therefore, by kotche v'dekabayis, you're true. It's true. If you donate the davar shanasham you're really donating the entire value of the entire thing, right? But over here we're talking about kotche mizbeach. Kotche mizbeach means is that the money that you're donating goes b'dafka towards a carbon, and therefore in that situation we don't necessarily have this rule. Therefore by Eved, therefore by Parah, it's not going to work. Okay, then the Gemara is going to ask Reiter. See you tomorrow.